Hello all, and welcome to Opafed Gaming. I am the Opafed. We are driving in a Tuz 420 to Terran, and we are looking for the quickest and best route from Urska River to Northern Aegis Installation, Amur. I've been playing this game for a while now, and I really got stuck trying to get to the Northern Aegis Installation. Now, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, because I might be wrong. But you know what I'm talking about. Now, I've tried several different routes, and most of them ended up in disaster, and they were very difficult and long to get there, and I was wondering how I was ever going to try and finish any of those tasks in Northern Aegis. So I started looking, and I came up with this route here. Now when you're driving up an icy road like this, I always try to drive on the side a little bit, and then that way you get a little bit of grip from the snow and you can make it to the top. Because the Tuz, being the best scout in the game as far as I'm concerned, it does have its drawbacks, because it doesn't have any chains. So icy roads are out. It also doesn't like deep water. But that's okay, there's not a lot of deep water that you're going to get into here unless you, of course, slide off the ice. But we're looking for the best route. Now, when you leave the garage in Urska River and you come down this route, this is a normal, regular route. But there are some pitfalls along the way that you can easily avoid. Like right up ahead here are two dips into the ground here. I don't know what they're from, but I've been through them, and you get stuck in them, so you have to be careful. Now, as you're coming around here, this is still the regular road, and I'll let you know when we're attempting a detour. And as we're coming around here, you want to try and avoid the boulders as much as possible. But then again, if you're driving in Amur, I'm sure you know that. And some of the boulders are okay, the smaller ones, but the bigger ones you can't tackle them with the Tuz, because you get stuck on top of them, and it's just a pain. Now, if you want to play a game where you can drive fast, this is not it. Okay? This game goes at a slow pace, and it's more a puzzle of how to get the jobs done than anything else. It's not speed. Anyhow, as we're coming down the hill here, if you look up ahead, if you keep going straight, the track or road, or whatever you want to call it, gets really, really narrow. Now, if you're driving in a Tuz, you can make it. I've done it, but it was a little hairy scary, because I almost slid off the road a few times. But there is no way that you're going to get a truck with cargo through there. So here is where you got to stop. You can't go straight. So we're going to go down to the ice. When you roll around these three big boulders on your right, you can see the big ones on either side, and you try to guide your Tuz in between. Now, it doesn't always work, but that's the gist of it. You try to avoid the big ones. As you're coming down to the ice, you want to take it slow, because all these big shards of ice, if you hit them too hard, they'll bounce your vehicle around, and sometimes they'll bounce you in the wrong direction. You don't want to bounce into the water. Now, I used to go straight along the water's edge there, but I had way too many troubles, so I started pulling up here, and lo and behold, what an easy route. You can pull up here with trucks. You can see the Tuz goes up here, so you know it's a much better route. So you avoided that. Two sections down below now that were a problem. Now, when you come over here, you can keep going straight, but there again, you're going to run into more problems. I know, I've been there. So, we want to get back down to ice level. Now, there's still a couple of problem areas to come, but we'll tackle them as we get there. So over here, when you turn right and then take the dip down, there's a little area just before the bridge there where you can go down. And I found that if you stick to the left-hand side of this area, not the right-hand side, which looks better because there's no rocks, but if you stick to the left-hand side, the game will let you slide over top of these rocks without any problems. Now, I can't speak for going back up, but going down is a piece of cake. I've done it with the Kenworth, with cargo on top, never had an issue. Then when you come along here, you have to come around that big rock, and like I said, try and take it a little easy because you don't want to bounce your Tuz, your little honey badger, all over the place. And then you just follow the ice here. Now the ice is solid on different maps. You got to be able to tell some of the ice is breakaway and some is not. But the ice here on this particular map is solid, and you can go all the way along here. There's one more area there where there's a boulder a little bit close to the edge, but you have to go around on the outside, unfortunately, because when you go on, if you try to climb the bank, I guess you could do that and then come back across the boulders, but I just go this way. I find it easier. So I come along here, and as soon as I get around that big rock, I turn to the left because the ice is broken up going inward, see? So that's the easiest way to get around it, and I've done that with the Kenworth too. Now straight ahead of you, straight ahead of the Tuz right now is a big rocky boulder. We have to climb up on the left-hand side. Now on the right-hand side of that boulder is a crack between two huge areas, but there's boulders underneath there, and you can't climb that with the Tuz. So you have to climb it up here. Now the drawback climbing up here is the snow gets really deep. Okay, just as you get through this area here, the snow gets a lot deeper and you get stuck. Now this is the biggest problem in this route. However, if this is the biggest problem you're going to encounter, where you're going to get stuck in the snow for about a minute, I think that's a pretty fair trade-off to maybe flipping your truck and losing your cargo and having to start the task all over again. So this is the way I go, okay? And now, if you don't have any patience, don't play this game, because this game will teach you patience, okay? We've been stuck here now for about half a minute, and I'm keeping the timer on, and you can see, I always put the view a little high so that I can see if the vehicle's actually moving. Now you can, to try and get it to move a little more, you can pull your steering wheel, turn the wheels from side to side, and sometimes that'll help a little bit, and sometimes it won't. And you can throw your winch out at those little pine trees, but they're not much of an anchor. So yeah, I'm still not close enough. It'll hook on to whatever is close enough. Okay, so we have to wait a second, get a little bit further ahead. He's starting to move a little bit, giving us a little bit of hope. Come on, honey badger, we gotta get going. And then we start to pull onto the little pine trees to pull us ahead. Now, for anybody that wants to see the route on the mini map, I've attached it at the end of the video, so stay tuned so you can take a look at that, and you can even take a picture of it or whatever you like, and you can see more directly how quickly this route does go, with the exception of this part in the snow. But we're starting to move, and by my count it was about, you're stuck about a minute, so I don't find that too bad. So now we're going to pull a little bit, pull a little more, and he's, oh, now you don't got no winch points. On the very next tree, I believe, he'll start to move again. There's not much that stops the Tuz. He can go through just about anything, like I said, except for ice and water. Those are the two things that he doesn't like. And of course you have to keep fuel in there too, because he does like the fuel. Okay, now we broke loose and we're into a little bit less snow, where it's not so deep, and we can get moving again. Now there's only one other section that usually bogs vehicles down. It doesn't do too much to the Tuz that's up ahead here. We've got a washed out road up ahead where they dropped a bunch of logs in for traction, and in the middle the logs just really sank, and they got frozen over with water, and when you drive on it you sink through the ice. So, but that's okay. This is absolutely awesome. A real quick way to get there. Now, if you're going to the Northern Aegis installation, there are no fuel stations there. So you could take a Kenworth, or I pronounce it Zigzag, I don't know if that's right or not, but that's the way I like to call it, and haul a fuel truck over there on this route. I've done that many times, and you get 2,000 liters of fuel in one of those trailers. You got more than enough to last you around there. So that's the best route that I have found to get there. So I hope you try it out, and I hope it helps you, and I hope to see you back for more tips and tricks and reviews of SnowRunner in the coming days as we're putting up more. You have yourself a great day. You've been running in the snow with the OPAFET.